Hey guys, I'm going to talk to you about Notebook LM today. I focus on actual AI use cases that you can use at your 9 to 5, whether you are a part of a team or you're a small business owner. So in this video, we're just going to go over Notebook LM, some information behind it, and then also the use cases I use the most. So maybe some of these use cases are new to you, or you already use them, or they spark some new ideas. So that's the goal of this video. We'll go ahead and get started. So Notebook LM is a Google product. So if you get Gemini Pro, then you also get Notebook LM Pro. And then also if you have Google Workspaces, it will also be included with that. Also, one thing I want to show is you can get to Notebook LM through your Gmail account. So once you're in here, they recently came out with featured notebooks, and here you can just see how they set up their notebooks and also some of the tools they used. So we'll just go ahead and look at a notebook I already have. And just as a disclosure, I do have more notebooks, but this is my personal account, and most of my notebooks are on my work account. So for this one, I just have my sources here, and when you hit create, you will just pretty much come into this window here. So you do get, I think 200 to 300 notebooks, and then the only limiting factor is you have 50 resource documents that you can have for each notebook. And just to talk about Notebook LM, the best way I would describe it, if you don't know too much about it, is it's basically your own personal open source LLM. For example, it will only take from the source documents you give it. And this is much different than ChatGPT, Claude, or any of the other AI models. I haven't heard of any other tool like Notebook LM, which is interesting. So once you add in your sources, you can use these tools over here to change the format of the data. For example, you could do audio, which I use this a lot. I actually do run an AI interest group, and sometimes I want to share some articles or papers on AI. And so I plug it into Notebook LM, and then it gives me a podcast that I could then share with my team. And this allows them to actually listen to it. So if they're not the computer, they don't have to read through it, or they could walk around and listen to it. It's really easy to take content heavy information and share it with people so they understand. So going down to video, the videos are pretty good. One thing I would say with this is I would use ChatGPT or Gemini to actually create the prompts for the video you want. And then some use cases for the videos. I used at my job for the training courses that we did. I would plug in pretty much all of our resources for that training, and then create a short video for like the beginning of a module or something along those lines. And it literally takes 5 to 10 minutes to create a video. My only thing is you can't edit the words specifically, so sometimes it does have words in there that you just doesn't fit, so you kind of have to play around with it. The mind map feature I don't use too much. You can't export it, so it's more applicable if your whole team has Notebook LM, and then you could share it with them. The reports, I do this. Sometimes I'll compile my notes in here and then have it draft a report. Flashcards, I feel like that is still more student use. You can't export those as well, but you can maybe, if everybody in your network has it, you could do some training on that. The quiz, I actually use this to create the quiz for the modules we created for our organization. You do have to watch out because usually when you make quizzes for like a training, pretty easy, but the medium default is pretty hard just for normal people. So I would definitely go with easy and still double check them. Infographics, I use this a ton. I believe you only have 3 infographics when you're a free user, so it's a little bit limiting, but it does give you great infographics. I noticed one thing it does really well that Gemini doesn't is creating timelines. So I'll go ahead and show you that. This was a timeline I created, and I used actually ChatGPT to create me the prompt, and then anytime there was something wrong with it, I would screenshot it and then tell ChatGPT how I want to change it. And then plug it back in, and then kind of plug and play as you go from there. And then the data table, I haven't used it too much for that, but there could be some good use cases for that. So overall, we went through the tools. I think the last thing I really want to touch on is just the use cases. So what I use it at work for the most is any policies, any SOPs I plug directly in here. So if I'm working on a project and I need to know that I'm still within the policy, I'll just go in and just ask it a question through here, and then it'll give me an answer with actual sources to the answer. So it's pretty accurate. And then another use and then that goes the same with SOPs. So if there's certain best standards, then I would use that to search it. I think the best thing about Notebook LM is if your whole team is using it, then you can share it with them here. Then you have a central place where all your employees could send their questions to, instead of asking maybe like an HR person. I've also, some use cases that I've heard of is people will put their financial documents in here and then just ask it to do an analysis for them. I would recommend de-identifying the data depending on the level of security you have with Notebook LM. Along with adding financials to Notebook LM, you could add other documents like your marketing plan, your branding information, and you can have it ask questions on that, or you can use the tools to create infographics or reports. So the use cases are pretty much limitless when it comes to Notebook LM. That's it for this video. If you guys like this kind of content, please like and subscribe, and check out my channel for other videos like this.